Hey everyone, so I'm in my office here at the CampusView building and it's pouring outside. I typically record these updates outside somewhere, maybe in front of my yard or on the roof of my house or by a lake with a gator in it who's eyeing me. But Mother Nature has forced me indoors this week, so this is where I'm doing it, all right? I wanted to share a passage with you in the first chapter of Philippians. And Paul says this, beginning in verse 3. He says, I thank my God every time I remember you. In all of my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Paul goes on to say, it's right for me to feel this way about all of you, since I have you in my heart, and whether I am in chains or defending and confirming the gospel, all of you share in God's grace with me. God can testify how I long for all of you with the affection of Christ Jesus. And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless on the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ to the glory and praise of God. So Paul obviously has a deep affection for his brothers and sisters in the city there of Philippi. He refers to first his partnership with them, and then he says that when he prays for them, it is with joy. There is a deep, deep connection that Paul feels for each of them. I hardly think that even though he has this deep connection with all of them, that he actually knew every one of them in an intimate way. But that didn't stop him. It didn't matter. They were his partners, his brothers and sisters in the gospel. They shared the good news together. And he was pretty confident even to say that God himself could testify how he longed for all of them. Paul goes on to tell them his prayer. And of all things that he would communicate to these brothers and sisters in his letter, Paul says this. He says, my prayer is that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless on the day of Christ. Of all things that he could have communicated to them regarding what he had been praying for about them, it was this. Why? Because it was important that their love would abound more and more. Brothers and sisters, in a time such as this, I would say that it's very important that our love abound more and more. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean that we're being pushed to our limits. We're being challenged right now in ways that none of us had anticipated. At least I am. I'm assuming you probably have been too. We've been scattered. We've been separated from the church, but we can't stop loving the church. And our love for the church needs to abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight. Here's a question. Are you stuck with someone? Maybe your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, a friend, a roommate. Are you tired of them? Are you getting irritated with them? Do you want to break free? Well, your love for them needs to abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight. We need the church, but we can't be with the church right now. But that's why we need to continue to love the church and each of our brothers and sisters in the church. We need to understand how very important every one of them how important they are to each of us. We need to prepare our hearts during this time of isolation to get ready to encourage one another once we're able to come back together. And those whom we're stuck with right now, they need you and you need them. And although you have a lot that's weighing on you right now, it's important that you consider how much is weighing on all of them. Paul says later in his letter to the church in Philippi in chapter 2, he says, therefore, if any of you have an encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, he says, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. He says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but rather in humility consider others better than yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but looking to the interests of others. So again, whoever you're stuck with, well, first remember they're stuck with you, but then remember to love them. Consider them above yourself. This could be over in a couple of weeks. Or this thing, I don't know, it may linger on and on and on for some time. None of us really knows. But my prayer is this, that all of us continue to grow in our love for the church and for one another, and to prepare ourselves to be even a better version of ourselves when we do come back together. Because we're going to need each other. Brothers and sisters, honestly, the world is going to need us. So we got to prepare our hearts and abound in our love. Kyle did a great job last night as he continued his Wednesday night live series in the book of Daniel. Well, I want to encourage us, jump back on this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. for our CampusView live stream. We're going to be diving back into the book of Acts, and we'll be in chapter 10, where we'll look at Peter and Cornelius and how God ushered in the kingdom for the Gentiles. Let all of your friends, family, countrymen know to jump on, watch, and be a part of this with us. Brothers and sisters, I love you so much. And like Paul said that he longed for his brothers and sisters with the affection of Christ Jesus, I want to encourage you. I long to see you again soon with the affection of Christ Jesus. Please stay safe, please stay healthy, and we will see each other soon. Love you guys.